Hello, and welcome to Math Online Learning, the very first section that we will learn this quarter online. So, first thing I'm going to talk about is how I want to make sure that everybody just communicates all problems, any questions they have. This week we only have 2 sections to talk about, pretty straightforward. Give you a easy first week here. And we're going to starting to talk about statistics and really dive into probability. So, week 1, section 1, we're going to talk about types of sampling. Every time you hear a statistical analysis, a percentage, they would have to sample that. You need to pick a certain number of people to sample. There's a population, which is the entirety of that. No one's left out. Like if you're talking about the entire population of the United States, that's a giant number, whereas we might sample 25% of that. A few people from each state, a few people from everywhere. We're going to talk about those different types of sampling. There are 5 types of sampling. Number 1 is a simple random sample. Sometimes it's just called random. And basically that means everyone has an equal chance of being picked. That's it. And an example of that would be a name in a hat. You write everybody's name on a piece of paper, you put it in a hat, and you draw 10 of them out, or however many you need. That is an example of completely random. Everyone has an equal chance. There's no bias. The second one is systematic. So this one is you're basically creating a list of things, and then you're going to pick that one category from the list. An example is like in class when we number everybody off of 1, 2, 3, 4, and you continue that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And the teacher picks the number 4 to answer a question. That would be a systematic. The third one is convenience. And whether you're doing a survey or asking questions or asking people whatever, all you're really doing is talking to the first people you see. So if you need to survey 100 people, you're just going to walk up to the first 100 people on the street and go, hey, answer this question for me. An example of convenience is if we're in math class next year and I say, hey, you need to get a survey of 20 people, and you survey just everyone in that one class. That's convenient. This is also considered the worst way to sample data, to get your data, because you're just kind of being lazy. You're only talking about one group of people. If you get everybody in our 8th hour, that's all juniors. And maybe you need to talk to seniors and 8th graders and get a wide range of data. So this is not the best way to do this, to get data at all. The fourth way is using a cluster. And you're going to divide the population into groups. And you're going to do this based on where people are. So for the United States, we can cluster people by state or by county. At school, we may only look at the third floor. Or maybe since now the third floor is pretty much all 8th grade, we'll look at the second floor. Or we'll just go survey the new wing or just the trailers, just so we can look at one group and not have to walk around everywhere. And the last sampling technique is stratified. And this is very, very similar to cluster because we're dividing the population again into groups. But this time it's going to be based on characteristics. An example of that would be, males versus females. Or lots of different other characteristics. You can do eye color, hair color, don't want to say too many, but there's a ton of characteristics that you can talk about. So those are the 5 types of sampling, and there's one more thing that I want to talk about, which is your type of data. You can have discrete data, which is usually obtained by counting. Basically, you count how many people are in a room. And essentially, you can't have have 2.5 people. So you're never going to count 2.5 people. You're counting whole numbers. There's 1 person, 2 people, 3 people. There's 1 textbook, 2 textbooks, the 3rd textbook. And the other type of data is continuous. And this is usually obtained by measuring. So for example, if you're measuring a length or talking about weight of something, those things can be decimals, 2.5 or 2.6 or anything in between, 2.54623. We can get all of that. It's continuous. There's never going to be a number that it couldn't possibly be.